makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? So this video is going to be a review and tutorial on the new GlamLite Miracle palette. This has a beautiful color story and also a really special meaning behind it, so I'm very excited to talk about it today with y'all. I did want to mention that this was sent to me as PR because I'm affiliated with GlamLite, but I was actually 100% planning on buying this palette with my own money because I love the concept of it. They just happened to comment on my picture and say like it's on its way to you, so I was very, very grateful because, like I said, I was already planning on buying this. So let's talk about the meaning behind it. You can see that it is the Miracle palette and the eye has the pink Cancer ribbon over it. So this is actually a tribute to all the women who have been affected by breast cancer, and they actually sent a little pamphlet with the palette, and I'm really hoping that this comes with every single palette, not just like, you know, like I said, I received it as PR, so I hope this goes to everyone. I feel like it's going to. So they said that GlamLite is donating 10% of all profits from this palette to the Susan G. Komen Foundation. This organization funds breast cancer research, medical care, the cost to educate women about the disease, and offers support to low-income and underinsured patients. So that's really, really cool that, you know, if you do end up purchasing this palette, a portion of the proceeds go to help fight breast cancer. I will say, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but just I feel like in the past I've heard that Susan G. Komen is not like the best organization, that a lot of the money goes to the CEO. Like the CEO is like living their best life when, you know, it's obviously donations. So if you have any more information on that, I would love to hear, but I still think it's a really good cause. And the CEO actually has like our little story in here, and I believe that she lost her mom to, man, you guys, I cried the first time I read this. Man, I want to read this to you guys, but I feel like I'm not going to be able to. She said, during my 11th birthday party on March 24th, 2002, I received the tragic news that the person I love the most in the world had been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. 9 weeks later, we lost our angel to this disease. This experience encouraged me to become an advocate against cancer. My mission is to help as many women as possible. So obviously it's a good cause, but I think it's also really cool that they're spreading awareness and talking about it, because like some of these facts here I didn't know. Like 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. I feel like that's a lot. About 85% of breast cancers occur in women who have no family history of breast cancer. Again, I did not know that. Breast cancer is diagnosed every 29 seconds around the world. 3,300,000 women in America have survived breast cancer. And breast cancer is the most common cancer among women. And they actually went ahead on the back and put all the different prevention tips, like having a healthy weight, avoid smoking, drink less, follow a healthy diet, exercise, and remember to give yourself a self-examination. They said women over the age of 40 should have a mammogram once a year, but I'm sure you already know that if you have a history of breast cancer in your family, you need to do that earlier than that. Obviously, this isn't 100% foolproof, because I mean, I talked about it on Snapchat a little bit. I asked you guys for prayers when my friend was in surgery, but I have a lady that I met here in Pennsylvania. She's very, very sweet, just such a kind soul, and I'm so lucky to be able to call her a friend. But sorry, but this year she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she actually just started chemo last week. She's actually an extremely healthy person, so it makes me think that, like, you know, obviously these things aren't foolproof. It can just happen, but I feel like I have like a personal attachment to this palette because it's very personal to me right now. And I'm sure it's really personal to you guys too, because it just affects so many women and also some men. So I'm just gonna take a moment, collect myself, and then we're gonna go ahead and jump into actually talking about the palette and the formula. Alright, so I think I'm okay to talk about the palette now. Sorry, I got a little bit emotional there. I feel like it's just a hard topic to talk about and not get emotional, and I'm sure you guys understand. So let's talk about the palette now. GlamLite is cruelty free, and this palette in particular is vegan. I can't speak to every palette that they have, but I did look up this one and it says vegan. So this retails for $28 without any codes added, and they do have free shipping over any order more than $39. As far as the product amount in this palette, I cannot speak to that, unfortunately, because it is not on the back and it's not on the website, and I think I threw away the outer packaging, so I can't tell you how much is in here. I am going to reach out to GlamLite and ask them, and I will, if they get back to me before the time I edit this video, I'll put it on screen. If they get back to me after I'm done editing this video, I'll put it in the description box, and if they never get back to me, I'm sorry. This is also made in the People's Republic of China. I got asked to include that in my reviews from now on, so it does say made in PRC, but designed and assembled in the USA, in case you're curious. So the palette does contain a mirror, and then there are 12 shades in here. 6 of them are completely matte, and then the other 6 are like a mixture of metallic and shimmers. So I think that it is a good variety, and there's a lot of looks you'd be able to create with this. I feel like when I was looking at this palette originally, I thought it was, you know, a neutral palette with a few pops of pink, but honestly, after using it, I feel like it's more of like a pinky palette with a few pops of neutral, if that makes sense, because even like the shades that I thought, you know, were a bit more on the neutral side, they pull really warm, so I think it is super beautiful. The matte shades, I have no problem blending them out. I feel like they are very pigmented, easy to use. I wouldn't say they're like crazy pigmented to where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't blend this out. So I do like the matte shades, and I like the variety here. You've got this shade here, which doesn't look like much in the pan, but it is a really beautiful peach shade, so I think that is a nice like transition color. Or if you are deeper, maybe you could set your lid with that, I'm not sure, but for me that shows up really well on my eyes. And then you have this shade right here, which is Superwoman. This this matte shade here called Hope is really beautiful, like just a super deep, rich, like warm brown shade. And then this one right here is Butterfly, and this is a really beautiful coral. I feel like online it looked a little bit more orange, but this is a true coral shade, super beautiful. And then this is my favorite. This is Fearless. This is such a rich dark purple with like a lot of pink undertones. I used it in my look today, but I didn't go too crazy with it, but I think that if I did like a spotlight eye with this and like put that everywhere, I think it would be beautiful. I really just gravitate towards shades like this, so I really like that one. I feel like it works well with the other colors in the palette, and I think it's a nice way to deepen other things up without going the traditional brown route. And then this one is just a nice like dusty pink shade, Rosa. It is so beautiful. I don't even know how to describe it, but I really like this. I think it's actually a super unique shade, and I used this today, so you'll be able to see it in action, and I really like that one. And then the last one is just a pretty, I wouldn't say a neutral brown, maybe just a tint of warmth in it, but it's nice. So like I said, I like the mattes, no complaints there, but what I'm looking for is some of the shimmers. So here, I'll tell you that this gold right here called Flawless and this purple right here called Beautylicious, those are pretty and they work fine. They're pigmented, but they're just like, you know, just like an average shimmer shade. However, these ones right here and this right here, mostly these two, Angelic and Amore, these are absolutely stunning. They have like sparkles throughout them, and they are like so like wet looking on the lid. I don't know if you guys can tell how beautiful my lid shade is today, but that is just the shade Amore. They are absolutely stunning on the lid. Like, I cannot get over it. You can apply them with a brush if you like have like 2 hours to waste, but I really feel like when you apply them with a finger and you use that heat of your finger, it warms them up and makes them look extra beautiful. I would say if you don't like your eyeshadow to transfer, you might need a glitter primer. I don't know if you can tell, but it did transfer a little bit, but I kind of like the look of transfer when it's like the perfect rounded shape, because I feel like it makes my eyes look a little bit bigger, and I don't mind it going into the crease a little bit. I really don't hate that look. Natasha Nona shadows do that to me too, at least her metallics, and I think these are actually a little bit more sparkly than Natasha's metallics, but it kind of has a similar feel to it, where it's like a very like slick but like just super shiny shade. And then also Shine, haha, shiny shade Shine, this one right here is a copper, and it has a similar formula of these two where it feels really wet, but it's not like quite as sparkly or intense, but it is still really beautiful. I'm not really drawn to coppers as much, so I feel like, I don't know, when I look at this palette, no matter what I use, I feel like I'm just immediately drawn to these two shades right here. They are absolutely beautiful. I did want to mention that I have the Masterpiece palette from GlamLite. They sent me this a while ago, and I think I only talked about it one time on my channel just because I was into this. I think I got this right before I got like super into colors, and I was still like into neutrals when I got this palette, so I didn't talk about it very much. But I will say that some of these shimmers have a similar formula, like they're like super like that like just wet metallic feel, but I definitely think that there's an improvement. The mattes in this are good. Some of them are not quite as pigmented. like these bottom ones here. But I will say that I feel like from going from this one to this one, they definitely have improved their formula, just in case you've already tried another palette from them in the past. I think this might have been their first palette. I just think that this one is really, really good. I also wanted to mention that I have not had any problem with fading with this palette. I feel like I mention it every time and I'm like, don't have any problems, don't have any problems, but that's because I never have any problems with fading. So maybe it's just redundant for me to keep saying it, but I did want to mention it. So I'm going to go ahead and insert some swatches of this palette real quick. One last thing just to show you guys really quickly, because this was kind of requested. I've been asked to do like a battle of pink palettes and I want to do that, but I thought I would mention or just show you guys really quickly the one that I thought a few people said this kind of reminded them of. So this is the Ace Beauty Paradise Blossom Passion palette, and this is obviously the Miracle palette we've been talking about the entire video. So here they are in comparison with one another. I would say that this is more like true pink red, a little bit more vibrant overall, and this has like the mix of pink, purple, and a few neutral shades. So I think that they're pretty different. The metallic shades are different. The only repeating shade I would say maybe the only one I can think of is Carnation in here, which is like that coral, and then the coral in here, Butterfly. They look a little bit similar, still not 100%. I think the Butterfly is a little bit more like of a rich shade, and this is a little bit more bright, but I just figured I'd show you that real quick. So that is everything I have to say for the palette. If you want to see how they perform and how I got this look, then just keep watching. So today I want to do something more like pinky purpley, so I'm going to start off with the shade right here called Rosa. I already primed my eyelids with some concealer, so I'm just going to take that on a really big fluffy brush and just throw it through my crease. I really, really love this particular shade. And I'm just going to blend that out. Alright, so next I'm going to go ahead and take the bright pink here called Superwoman. And I'm just going to put that on the outer V just a little bit and then bring it through the crease. If you went in with just this shade without the Rosa underneath, it's a lot more like bright and, you know, just a bright pink shade. But this combination kind of tones it down just a little bit. I'm going to go back in with my previous brush and just blend it a little bit, even though it's already pretty blended. Go ahead and take the shade Fearless right here, this really deep purple. This is, I think, my favorite matte in the palette. And I'm just going to like start off by tapping that on my outer V. See how beautiful that is? And then just kind of slightly blending it inwards. Seriously, such a beautiful purple pink shade. So I'm just going to lightly just blend the edges out with the previous fluffy brush. I'm going to pick up a touch more of that purple and I'm just going to run it along the outer part of my lower lash line. And then I'm just going to dip into this metallic purple here called Beautylicious, and I'm going to just throw that on like the inner half of my lower lash line. So now, you guys aren't ready for this. I'm going to go ahead and take this shade Amore right here, and I'm just going to use it on my finger because I find that's easiest. Here, I'll show you on my finger and then I'll show you on a brush. Do you see that? So beautiful. Alright, so there you can see how it looks when you go in with a brush. You can definitely build it up slowly, but it's nowhere near as magical. I feel like the warmth of your finger really helps with this shade. I mean, it's still like pretty, it still picks up some of the glitter, but it's just not finger level. So there is the eye look. I think it's absolutely beautiful, so stunning. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom you guys in so you can see how amazing this lid shade is. So hopefully you guys can see how sparkly and pretty this is. Sometimes my camera doesn't pick sparkles up as well, but I think it is absolutely stunning. So quickly, I'm just going to go ahead and add the Hikari eyeliner. I think the shade might be Raven, but it's just a black, and then I'm going to use the Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. Alright, so for lipstick today, I'm going to go into Velvet Teddy from MAC. I have had this for such a long time, it's crazy. It's actually starting to smell funny, so I feel like I should declutter it, but I remember how happy I was when I got this lipstick. Like, it meant so much to me, so it's like it would hurt my heart to declutter it. And then I'm just going to top that off with the Becca Liquid Crystal Lip Topper Glow Gloss, and I think this is, yeah, it's the shade Pearl Times Gold. I got this at TJ Maxx on sale, so I've had it for a bit. I should probably try it on my lips at some point. Alright, so here is the final look. Oh wait, no, I forgot highlighter. What am I doing? What is wrong with me? I'm going to go into City Grace Cosmetics Loose Highlighter in the shade Pink Lightning. Whenever I get around to filming my next favorite video, this is definitely going to be in it. It is the most beautiful loose highlighter. Oh my gosh. It's the best loose highlighter formula I've ever tried. Like, if you've ever tried like loose highlighters and you feel like they really emphasize texture and they don't look smooth enough on the skin, or they look really glittery, which, I mean, I don't mind a glittery highlight, but I feel like it emphasizes texture even more when it's loose. This is so smooth, so beautiful, blends out beautifully, and that shine is just, it's really pretty. It's just a touch more pink than Ofra's Pillow Talk, but seriously super similar. And a lot cheaper. I think this might be like maybe $8 or $10. But this is the finished look for real this time, and I really love how it turned out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and review, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.